Well, I appreciate you all.
Sorry.
I appreciate you all logging in tonight with me. Typically, in previous years, I've been able to get up to campus, and I hope someday soon, hopefully next year, I'll be able to come and do this presentation in person for all of you. I always prefer to be on campus and to see all of you guys in person. So I'm going to get started now. Bear with me for just a second. Okay, so again, my name is Larry Walsh, and I work for the Office of Admissions at Salus University and PCO. And I've been with Salus now for about 10 years, and I've been in higher education admissions for close to 22. And one of the things I love really about my job is I get to meet students from all over North America. So I'm really, really glad to be here. I typically am the person that is always up in Canada. I'm actually going to Ontario in November, and I'll be doing some presentations for some schools up there. So again, I hope to be back in Alberta next year. But the title of our presentation tonight, guys, is the Salus PCO difference. And we feel when you're looking at optometry colleges out there, both in Canada and the United States, that you're really going to see some things that are a little bit different about PCO and Salus University, different in a good way. And that's really what the presentation is all about tonight. So I'm going to go through the presentation, and then when we're done, I'll certainly stick around for a little while if you have any questions at all. But if you don't, or if the questions come after the presentation, you can see my email right there. I'd be glad to communicate with you all through email. So let's get started. So basically today's discussion, everyone, we'll talk first of all about our location. Some of you might not be familiar with where we are located, so I definitely want to address that first. But then we'll talk about our history and mission, and we feel that's really important because it's one of the differences between our program and some of the other ones out there. I'll then go over our program and the specific optometry curriculum that we offer. Hopefully it'll give you a glimpse of what to expect really from Salus. Next, the ever popular admissions process. I hope to give you an idea of really what it's like to apply to our program. Another thing that I love about our admissions process and really the philosophy of our school is we are as transparent as possible. We want you to know before you even submit that application, really what to expect if you apply to Salus University and our optometry college. Next, I'll go over our student life. PCO is part of Salus University. We are a healthcare graduate-only university. So I'll talk to you a little bit about what you can expect in student life as a student in our optometry program. And then last but not least, everyone, I'll talk about the professional outlook and outcome. So basically, you know, you're all going to expend a lot of time, a lot of energy, and a lot of tuition dollars for the next 4 years to become doctors of optometry. So where are you going to land? What are you going to do? Where are you going to practice? We'll talk a little bit about that. So it'll give you an idea of really what to expect once you graduate. All right, so let's talk about now our campus and clinical locations. So this is just a very simplified map of our locations. We are in Pennsylvania, so we're in the northeastern part of the United States. And within the state of Pennsylvania, we are in the southeastern part of the state. We border with the states of New Jersey, New York, Ohio, Maryland, and Delaware. So our campus is actually located in Elkins Park, which is a suburb of Philadelphia. And then our clinical locations, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, and 4, they are located both in the city and in the outskirts of Philadelphia. And we'll talk a little bit more about them in a moment. One of the things that I love about Salus University is our location. I always tell students you get the best of both worlds. The Elkins Park campus, where your first 2 years will be spent, is in a suburban setting, but we are just outside of city limits of Philadelphia. And Philadelphia is one of the largest cities in the United States. So we are just behind New York, Los Angeles, and Chicago. So probably not as big as Toronto on the eastern part of Canada, but probably twice as big as Edmonton. So lots and lots of really neat things in the area. If you are going to be doing your clinical work here, or if you decide to settle in Philadelphia, there are clinical and professional opportunities everywhere. We have some of the best top hospitals in the world. We've got great academic medical centers as well for clinical practice. So just a dynamic healthcare city here in Philadelphia. I'm from the area. I'm a little bit biased. I like that I am a car ride away from so much to do and see in the States. We are in the Northeastern Metropolitan Corridor. So we are just in between New York and Washington and Baltimore and Boston. So we are really, really close to a lot of great, great cities. If you ever want to go swimming in the Atlantic Ocean, we're only an hour and a half from New Jersey beaches. And we have great hiking and skiing in the Pocono Mountains of Pennsylvania, which is about an hour and a half away from campus. So lots of things to do outside of the classroom, and you'll have a little bit of time as a student in optometry. It's not all just studying and going to class, so you will have time to explore the area. We also have the finer things of life. If you are into museums, or if you like restaurants or going to concerts, there's plenty of that here in the Philadelphia area. So lots and lots of great things to do outside of that. If you're a history buff, and I certainly am, it's where America started. So if you want to see the Liberty Bell, if you want to see the Independence Hall or the Betsy Ross Museum, all of that is right here in Philadelphia. And then last but certainly not least, if you love sports, we are a sports city. Our Phillies in baseball just won today, so we're really happy about that. And we have our beloved Philadelphia Eagles for football. So if you're a sports fan and you want to see professional sports, you certainly can do that here. We have a train station, guys, that is a block away from campus, and that train will take you into the city to see those museums or to go to that sporting event. So lots to do outside of the classroom. All right, so now, guys, I want to go over the colleges and programs that make up Salus University. As I said before, we are a graduate-only healthcare university. So no undergraduate students, no history majors, no business majors. Every one of our students have graduate education in their sites in the healthcare. So this is a breakdown of the university. We have the Osborne College of Audiology. So students that go into that particular college, they're learning how to be doctors of audiology. They can go into either a 4-year or a 3-year accelerated track. There's also an online bridge degree program for international audiologists. Next, we have the College of Health Science, Education, and Rehabilitation. So under that particular college, we have a physician assistant program, and MMS, guys, means Master of Medical Science. We have Master of Science and PhD programs in biomedicine, a Master of Science, and a Doctor of Science in Occupational Therapy. We have a Master of Science degree in Speech Language Pathology. We have a Master of Science or a Master of Education in Blindness and Low Vision. And we have a post-baccalaureate program in the Health Sciences certificates. And we are really, really proud, guys. We just brought in our first Master of Science class in orthotics and prosthetics. So lots of really, really cool programs in addition to optometry. And then, of course, last but certainly not least, the oldest and the largest of the colleges here at Salus, the Pennsylvania College of Optometry. And there's two tracks that I'll talk about in a little while that lead to the Doctor of Optometry. There is the traditional 4-year program and an accelerated 3-year scholars program that students can go into. And again, I'll talk about that in a little bit with you. So our mission and vision is really important to us because it's really who we are, who we want to be, and who we want our students to be when they graduate. First of all, Salus, guys, it's actually the Latin word for health and well-being. So that's important to us and important to our students because the first day of orientation, our president gets up and he talks to all of our students and he says, you know, as undergraduate students, it was all about you. You thought about yourselves and you planned out your future. You're probably doing that now at the U of A. And that's very much understandable. You are thinking about yourselves, but once you leave undergraduate school and go into a graduate healthcare profession or a healthcare school like Salus, it's no longer about you. It is now about your patients. You are taking that step to becoming a professional that works with real life patients. So it is going to be all about health and well-being of your patients. So the mission of the Optometry College, well, we want to be innovators and we want to lead in optometry. We've been doing that for about 100 years and we want to keep doing that. We want to advance health and healthcare through excellence in discovery, patient care, and professionalism. So all of that is going to be part of the curriculum at Salus. We are innovators in optometry, everyone. I always tell students when they ask, you know, what's Salus known for? What is their specialty? And I always say, we are a university of first. So take a look at this. We were founded as an optometry college in 1919. So 102 years ago, PCO opened, and we were the country's first, North America, I should say, first optometry college. In 1935, we were the first to require a 4-year formal OD education program. So everyone now in North America, they have all followed Salus in establishing not only an optometry college, but a curriculum, a formalized curriculum, and that all started right here at PCO. In 1975, we were the first to develop a comprehensive externship program for our students. So externship, that's when you send your students off campus to real life experiences working with real life patients. Before 1975, everyone, that never happened. It was all classroom, lectures, and laboratories. Salus wanted to do something different, so we created what is called today the externship program, and every other optometry college in North America followed suit. In 1978, we took that hands-on learning a little bit further. We were sending students out all over the United States, but we also wanted to take care of our own backyard. We wanted to be able to take care of our community and to have a teaching facility for our students. So we created our first clinical facility known as the Eye Institute. And the Eye Institute serves two purposes: educating our students and servicing the people of the Philadelphia area. So 1978, we opened up the Eye Institute. Things really started to change for PCO with the beginning of the new millennium. We began to develop new graduate programs outside of optometry. So we applied for and became a university because we were offering audiology and physician assistant programs. So we couldn't still be called the Pennsylvania College of Optometry. So through the development of all these new programs, the university was born. And that happened in the year 2008. So in 2014, another great innovation at Salus, we were the first to develop and implement an accelerated 3-year optometric education program. So accelerated programs you're starting to see at other optometry colleges now. They looked at Salus and said, wow, what a great idea that Salus is doing. Let's do what they're doing. And then in 2018-19, it was a special year for all of us. We celebrated 10 years as a healthcare university and 100 years as an optometry college. Okay, let's talk a little bit now specifically about our optometry program and curriculum. So what are you going to be doing the next 4 years? Number one, our focus. It's an interdisciplinary approach to graduate and professional health sciences. So interdisciplinary approach, well, that means you're going to be taking courses with students in other programs on campus. So you'll be in with PA students, you'll be in with audiology students, and you'll be learning about the ethics of healthcare or transitioning into practice. We also focus on primary care and early patient exposure. So you'll be going into your clinical experiences in the beginning of your first year. That's a little bit earlier than some of the other optometry programs out there. And our externship programs are longer as well. They start the beginning of your 3rd year. We also, in addition to offering our Doctor of Optometry program, a lot of students want to specialize. And in specialization, they can get advanced studies degrees. That's unique only to Salus University. So you can get certification in anterior segment. You can get certification as a contact lens specialist or a binocular vision or vision therapy specialist, or even neuro-ophthalmic disease. Again, these are to enhance you as a working professional. You'll have that certificate, that specialization, and that's only offered at Salus University. Another thing that is only offered at Salus are dual degrees. So if you wanted to get that degree in optometry and get a master's degree in low vision rehab, you can get that as well. If you like to do research in optometry, you can get a Master of Science degree in biomedicine. Again, this is along with that 4-year optometry degree. Some of the other things that we focus on specifically at PCO is our innovative curriculum. It is constantly changing because the profession is constantly changing and evolving. Think about it. If you are looking into optometry now, or if you are working in the profession right now, maybe as a tech, you know that things are changing, that technology is changing, the expectations of patients are changing as well. So we are changing with those times. We don't have large lecture halls. We have small group learning experiences. We introduced the visual system and the eye in your first semester of your first year. We've also increased focus on neuro and managing traumatic brain injuries in patients. And we're also conducting laser and minor surgical procedures as well. So in Pennsylvania, laser and surgical procedures are not done by optometrists, but we get students from all over Canada and the United States. So there are some areas in both countries where optometrists can use lasers and perform minor surgical procedures. So that is why we offer it. We have some of the most advanced contact lens content possible right now. So really some neat features there. Healthcare delivery with diagnostic and disruptive technology. So you'll learn about how to diagnose. You'll learn how to treat eye problems with some of the new technology that is out there. And then last but not least, board preparation is part of the curriculum at Salus University. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the early clinical training. Patient care at the Eye Institute begins the first week of your first year. So you get settled in, your first week of classes, you'll be going down to the Eye Institute. You'll be in an exam room with real patients. You won't be conducting the eye exam. You'll actually be observing, and you'll be learning how to use all of the technology in the room. So don't worry about it. You won't have to be working with patients, but you will sooner or later. We also offer what are called clinical problem-solving modules in your second year, so smaller classes, and you'll be doing exactly what the title of the class is called, clinical problem solving. We also require our students to take a 70-hour clerkship, so that is working at your local optometrist in between your first and second year. We also require our students to participate in community service. We have vision screening. We have a mobile vision care unit. There's a picture right there of it with some small children. So we go to elementary schools in Philadelphia. We go to do volunteer work with area veterans as well. Okay, I want to talk a little bit now about our externship program. As I said, it starts a little earlier than typical optometry programs. It's 1.5 years of full-time clinical externships, and you're going to see a lot of patients. The first rotation is an entire year, everyone. That is in primary care. And then your second year, we go cut it into quarters. You'll work in a hospital setting, ocular disease site, a contact lens site, and then back to TEI, where you will specialize in primary care, pediatrics, cornea, and specialty care. We have, guys, the largest externship program in North America. We have over 400 active sites. 100 of them are in our home state of Pennsylvania, and the rest are spread within the 50 states and 3 provinces in Canada, including Alberta. So if you wanted to do your externships back home in Edmonton or the surrounding area where you might be from, you can do that. We have clinical facilities. We have externship sites pretty close to where you guys are at now. If you want to go to a military international sites, you can go to Japan or you can go to Germany. So lots of available situations for you. All right, so our main clinical facilities on campus. We talked about the Eye Institute already, and they've been around for 40 years. We do now have not 2, but 3 additional satellite locations. And the reason we have those satellite locations, it's to give you a diverse patient care base. So you get to see as many different people and as many different problems as possible. Our students see 43,000 patients per year at the Eye Institute. So it is a very busy and vibrant place. So if you like that, if you like a lot of action, the Eye Institute at PCO is a great place to be. If you add up our other locations with the Eye Institute, we see 85,000 patients per year. So you will not be bored when you are at Salus University and you are doing your clinical sites. Because we are in a big city like Philadelphia, we have a diverse patient population, infants to the elderly, you'll be dealing with all of them. And you'll be seeing comprehensive clinical experiences as well. Extensive vision pathologies and eye problems are everywhere, especially in the low income areas. So bad for them, the patients, but good for you, the student. This guys just gives you a visual of what the Eye Institute looks like. And really the pictures do not do it justice. It is a big, beautiful place with lots to do. Salus also is pretty big on research. We are number 5, I think it is now, of the 22 optometry colleges out there. And these are just some of the research that we are doing right now. Okay, now the ever popular admissions process. First, this is a profile of this brand new incoming class. There they all are, all 145 of them, smiling and ready to take on the world. We get about 887 applications per year for our optometry program. We bring in a class of about 148 students. So us, along with Illinois College of Optometry, are the 2 largest optometry programs in North America. Students hail from all over the United States and Canada. Only a small portion are actually from Pennsylvania. As you can see, the majority of students are from all over the United States and Canada. And just an FYI for you, we get about 10 to 12 Canadian students per year that will come to the States and come to PCO for their education. This is an academic profile, and I know up in Canada, you don't use the same GPAs as we do down here in the sciences. So I can say we are looking for strong B students in academics. That's what we look for, a B student. Our average OAT score was about a 300 academic and a 280 total science. We also accept the graduate record exam. That's a totally different test that students can take if they wish. It's a little less expensive than the OAT. Typically, students score in the 50th percentile. As far as majors concerned, the majority are bio majors, but you can major in really anything. So guys, as I mentioned before, there are 2 different paths to gain your optometry degree. There's the 4-year application process that you would submit an application through Optomcast, and Optomcast is the common application for optometry schools. And this is all of the information. Prerequisites, standardized tests, a Casper test. The Casper test, guys, was actually created in Canada by McMaster University for their medical students. We thought it was a great test, so we adopted it ourselves, and we are the only optometry college in the United States that uses the Canadian Casper test. We require 3 letters of recommendation, and we require 25 hours of shadowing or observing an OD. And for the 4-year program, it is an on-campus traditional one-on-one interview. So if you are invited to interview at Salus, you would have to come to Philadelphia and interview on campus. Okay, the 3-year option, pretty similar. You do need a bachelor's degree. You do still need to apply on Optomcast. You do still need to take the OAT, but we are looking at a slightly higher average, about a 330 on the OATs. GPA, for Canadian students, we're looking for an A to A- student. You have to have 100 hours of healthcare experience, and we require what is called an MMI interview. An MMI is short for multiple mini interview. So you basically are going to different stations and interviewing. You might have a one-on-one interview with a student, and then with a faculty member. You might then move to a station to do problem solving, and then you might complete an essay, all part of that multiple mini interview process. Our scholars will start in July. So if you graduate from U of A in May or June and you went into our program, you would be starting in early July. Excuse me. This, guys, is just a graph. It gives you a closer look between the two programs. Obviously, the traditional is going to be more expensive, and this is all in United States dollars. 4 years at 162 American dollars, and a class of 145. The accelerated, only 3 years, so tuition is a little bit lower, and we bring in 12 to 14 students. So definitely some advantages of going into the 3-year program. Okay, the prerequisites, guys, for both programs are the same. And we are pretty typical of all of the other optometry colleges out there: bio, chem, organic chemistry, physics, micro, English composition, mathematics, psychology, and statistics. So these are all of the typical prerequisites you'll see at most colleges out there. In addition to the prereqs, we recommend a lot of upper level sciences. I know that most of the Canadian colleges out there, you're taking these courses anyway. So typically, our Canadian students have great curriculums, and that's something that is an advantage for you. All right, guys, this is really how we evaluate you as an applicant. We look at different indices. There's an academic index, so we'll look at your grades and your standardized test scores. The personal index, well, we look at the letters of recommendation. We want to see what your professors and what your teachers and what your advisors say about you. If you come to interview, well, we're going to evaluate your knowledge, your interest, and motivation. Tuition and financial aid, I do want to point out, it is available for Canadian students. You can get provincial support in order to pay for your education down in the state. So a lot of students have come to the United States from Canada and have done really well with their financial aid. So don't be scared about coming into the States. In addition to the provincial support, there is Royal Bank. They offer a line of credit to Canadian students in order to come to the States. And some US banks may provide loans to you, a Canadian citizen, if you have any family that are living in the States. So all sorts of different options that are available to help you pay for school. And this, guys, gives you a visual of what our campus looks like. And some great things are new on campus. We have a brand new clinical procedures lab. We have the largest clinical procedures lab of any other optometry college there. We are among the first to offer a virtual reality simulation lab as well. And we have a brand new learning resource center. So lots of great new technology that is available to our optometry students. This just gives you a visual of what classes look like and what our laboratories look like. Very small, even though we bring in a very big class. The actual classrooms are pretty small. You're going to see about 20 to 30 classmates in lectures and laboratories. We also, guys, have a great state-of-the-art community center. So if you want to go over and take a yoga class, or you want to just get some cardio in, you definitely can go over there. It's part of your tuition, brand new, and we have licensed practitioners that are over there that can help you with training. So really a really great place to go to just get some steam off. We have all the same services that you're used to as an undergrad at U of A now. We have the Office of Student Affairs, we have peer mentoring, we have career services. If you're having any issues, we have the Center for Personal and Professional Development as well. We don't have any dorms on campus here at Salus University, but we are very blessed, guys. We have lots of apartment complexes that are within walking distance of campus. So it's not crazy expensive to live here, but it's not cheap either. Pretty much middle of the road. I would think it's pretty close to Edmonton. And then lastly, guys, our student outcomes. Our national board scores have been great. 77% in 2019 and 81% pass rate in 2020. Our scholars class, 100% of them passed the MBEO, and they're well above the national rates. And get this, a Salus student has received the highest score nationally on part 1 of the MBEO for the class of 2018 and 2019. And this, guys, is just a graph of really where our students are headed after graduation. So 53% are going into private practice. So more than half of our graduates go right into private practice. A good portion go into residency. We have a great residency program here at PCO, and then the other settings as well. So lots and lots of different opportunity for you in the States and in Canada. So guys, I gave you my view as an administrator, but I would really, really recommend that you look at us through social media as well. We have students, we have alumni, we have professors that are sharing their experiences on all of these social platforms. So definitely look into that if you want to find out a different perspective about us. And also, guys, keep in touch with my office as well. If you haven't applied to the optometry program yet, and you would like us to look at your transcripts, or you would like to talk about the application process one-on-one, you can schedule a phone counseling session with us. That's to contact us through email, and the main email address is admissions@salus.edu. And now, guys, we have a QR code. So if you are interested in being on our mailing list and finding out more about us and seeing what is available, take a picture of that QR code, and that'll take you right to an electronic information form to fill out. You fill out that information, you'll be on our mailing list, and we'll send you all sorts of great information. So with that, guys, I know I threw a lot of information out to you. I hope it was useful. I hope it gave you a sense of really who we are and what the difference is in coming to Salus University. So thanks again, everyone. I really appreciate your time. So with that, all right, guys, do you have any questions? Anything that I can go over for you?
I have a question, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
So my question is about whether an honors degree would make any difference in the application process. And specifically, so I'm in an arts program right now. I'm in linguistics. So I would think if I was in a science program, then I think an honors degree would obviously give me more relevance in the admission process. But I guess I was wondering if that would also matter coming from arts.
Absolutely, it would. Curriculum is the main focus, and I don't really mention it in the presentation, but when we review an application, the first thing we look at is curriculum. We look at the type of courses you're taking. So it's not just going to be your academic average that is going to make a difference. It's going to be the curriculum you're in. And if you're in an honors program, that shows that you are challenging yourself in the classroom. And I can tell you, and I can tell everyone, that when we look at students from Canada versus students from the United States, Canadian students, typically the curriculum is much more challenging than that of the United States. So you all will have a leg up on the competition, even if you're in a traditional program that's not in an honors program. And that goes a long way. For example, if I see a C in a honors course in Canada, or even a bio course in Canada, it's not as much of a red flag as if I see a C in a bio course from a United States school. It's just the way it is. Your curriculum has always been better. And I've been looking at Canadian applications now for 15 years, and they're always better than that of the United States. So don't worry, guys. You do have a leg up on the competition in the United States. Trust me, you do.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome, and good luck to you. Anything else, guys, or did I bore you with enough information?
I had a really quick question.
Sure, absolutely.
So the averages that you mentioned in the presentation,
Yeah.
you said that Canadian students kind of by default have a bit of a leg up as to how, difficult our curriculum is.
Yes.
But because Salus put such a focus on curriculum, if you have an applicant that falls slightly below the range for what your averages are like for the GPA, do you look at that application holistically, or how does that work?
We do look at it holistically, absolutely. So part of a holistic view is looking at curriculum and not just the grade. So definitely, it's a holistic view. So it's all really a puzzle, to tell you the truth. With the academic index, we're going to look at the grades, we're going to look at the curriculum. OA scores, the national average, OAT scores, the national average in Canada is higher than that of the United States. So typically you guys are going to have stronger OETs, and that also will play a part in all of this. And then we look at, your essay and your letters of recommendation. And then the reason that the interview is such a critical part of our process, it's all part of that holistic view. If you come in for an interview and you're enthusiastic and you've done your homework about the profession, that's going to go a very long way in getting a positive admissions decision. So yes, to answer your question, it is definitely a holistic review.
Thank you so much. And I just wanted to ask one more follow-up question, since
Sure.
you interviews. I remember seeing a slide that there are about 800 something applicants, and then there's about 150 students that get accepted. So in that process of kind of funneling all the applications, do you know approximately like how many students you interview, that you invite to interview?
Yeah, we interview about 300 to 400 people. So about half of the students that apply will be interviewed. And then we'll bring in a class of 148, but we're going to accept probably close to 200. And the reason we do accept more is because we know students are going to apply to multiple optometry programs. And while I would love to accept, or I would love everyone we accept to say, yep, I want to go to Salus, it's just not realistic. So we'll accept about 200 of them.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, guys. Well, I really appreciate your time. Again, please keep in touch with me through email. Keep my email address in your database as well for your club, because I would love to come back up there next year and present in person. All right, guys, take care. Have a good weekend, and hopefully I'll see you all on campus one of these days. Go Oilers.